because your heart follows your money. And you get emotionally attached now to that stock. Oh, it went down $5 today. Oh, it went up $3 today, and you'll be a nervous wreck. So all I'm saying is we do get emotionally attached to our money, but a credit card, I mean, you don't get attached to that. It's just a piece of plastic. Cash, pull out your purse, your wallet. Oh, oh, now it hurts a little bit, especially if it's a 20 or two 20s. Unless you're like we do, my wife and I, we got an envelope, it's got cash in it, and then we go to the grocery store, we make sure we take cash out of the envelope. So about every week, we'll take a little cash out, go to the store, and we pay cash for our groceries. Works for us, and it just makes you a little better, I guess, and it makes you, yeah, I'll be honest with you, uh, I'm like you. I like a little extra, and I like those $2.68 chocolate bars that are like 90% dark chocolate. Right? Not a lot of sugar, a little bit of fiber. It's chocolate. It's good. You know what? About a month ago, I said, I'm not buying any more of those the rest of the year. He says, only 268 cents. I know. But you're paying cash. You start thinking, I really don't need that. It's just kind of a whatever. So I buy it. Adds up. And we've talked about the $5 habits. I mean, I know we're talking more daily habits, but if I spent $2.68 a week, that's $3 a week. Well, what if I find four other items? I'm getting $5 a day, 5 times 25, $25 times 4 in a month. I found $100. That's stuff I didn't need. I was doing a financial coaching session just today, and I'm talking to a girl, and she's in her 30s, and but on her phone you can play these games, and a dollar here and a dollar there, and they just suck you in. And so we had to talk about that a little bit, because there's money that's just going out the door and we're not keeping track of it. So once again, when you're paying cash, you tend to be a little more thrifty on average, and you'll come out ahead at the end of the month. All right. So at any rate, let's just keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So we're going to go with cash. Now, here's another myth. And it says, and parents may come along and they'll say things, well, I want to make sure that my teenager gets a credit card so they can learn to be responsible with money. Why not just do a debit card? Why's it got to be a credit card? How's that being responsible? That's not being responsible. I think the last figure I looked, we've got over $1 trillion, and I don't know the exact. I saw it and I just glanced at it today. We're over $1 trillion in credit card debt in this country. Does that sound like people are being responsible? No, that's at the other end of the spectrum. So I don't think getting my teenager a credit card, I don't know that that's very responsible as a parent, because we got a lot of credit card debt out there. And teens are a huge target for credit card companies today. And they hang on to them, and that's why the adult market is saturated. Because here's the deal too. I mean, if I can get you to get the Kohl's card, you'll shop at Kohl's. If I can get you there as a teenager, boy, that's helpful, because then I might get you for life. That's pretty good, right? So anyway, and then there's other cards, and then of course Visa, they'd love to get you for life, and Discover, because you need to discover all kinds of new whatever, I don't know. So anyway, there's all that. And yet college students struggling with debt. Once again, I coach people all the time. Credit card debt. Oh, Bank of America card. Oh, Wells Fargo. Oh, Chase. Oh, Citi. I mean, I mean, we're talking 4, 5, 6 credit cards. Not being very, I mean, not responsible, right? I mean, that's where we're at. So I know people say, well, then debt's like a tool and it should be used to create prosperity. Now, that's something that, oh, it's out there. I don't want to get into the business world and how people have approached it, but we're not going to use debt as a tool. We're going to use, and if I bring up the stock market and a mutual fund, and right now you're thinking, why would I want to do that? Because the stock market's tanking right now. Oh no, it tanked in 1987 too. I mean, nobody cares about that. Now, if you need your money in the next 5 years, then I don't think the stock market is where you want to be. And we're going to talk about that in a future lesson. But right now, let's just keep in mind that the borrower is slave to the lender. And you know what? I mean, and they kind of send you a little notice or a bill every month. Oh, you owe us $4,200. Oh, but you only got to give us 65 so we can make boatloads of money off all that interest. So we can build these big buildings and pay our people lots of money and all that. I'm just not a big fan of building bank buildings. I mean, and so on. So on page 88, debt is a tool. The borrower is slave to the lender. And when a survey in the Forbes were asked, what's the most important key to building wealth, 75% replied that becoming and staying out of debt or staying debt free. Number one key to building wealth. And you, once again, I always tell people, go back, and I've told you multiple times, go back to page 40. Look at what this one guy was able to do, setting aside just $2,000 a year and let it accumulate and build over time. All right. So we're not going to go with the credit cards. We're going to go out eventually after college. We're going to get us a job, and we're going to use our income to build wealth, not debt, not debt. And I know credit card rewards and all that. So here on page 89, we're going to quit borrowing more money. Okay, so I had a recent call. And so this particular person I was talking to has a few credit cards. I said, well, I got an offer from the bank for a personal loan. But see, what happens is, and we talked about this, and I told this particular person, I said, well, look, we're going to attack this one credit card, and it's going to be gone in 4 months. And then we're going to attack the next card, and it's going to be gone in about 5 months, going by all of her numbers with her income, etc., etc. And I said, well, why would you? There's no need to even think about another loan, because a lot of times taking out another loan to pay off debt, I hate to say it, a lot of times it backfires on you. And there's a number of reasons for that I don't want to get into right now. But we tend to become a little more lax. And I like to put people on the fast track to getting out of debt. And I'm not looking for ways to elongate it for 10 or 15 years. All right. So we want to quit borrowing more money, and we got to save money. And sometimes you have to sell something. Look around. What do you got? If you're in debt, and I know, I mean, for the class, especially as teenagers, you're probably not sitting on a whole lot. Oh, I could sell this, but what if you had something you could sell for $30? You're like, cool, I'll go sell that for $30 and I'll put it in the bank account, whatever. But if you don't need it, not using it, sell it before it. You can't get anything for it. One of the things that's always bothered me over the years, because I grew up in construction, is I'll drive down the road and I'll see equipment. It's obviously not working. Somebody obviously took it and parked it at some point. Now it's just rusting out, sitting, never be used again, and who knows how long it's going to sit there. And I always think, well, they could have sold that at some point for at least $50, got something for it, then you wouldn't have it in your yard or your field or whatever. So sell something. And then sometimes people need to just get a part-time job or work a little overtime because they're trying to get ahead if they have some debt that they're trying to get rid of. And then we do this debt snowball. And so what I'll do is I'll look at the number of debts, how much is owed, and we will typically, not always, typically get rid of the smallest one first. For instance, in one particular instance, there was multiple credit cards, but there were two in the $3,000 range. And one was 6% interest, and one was 23% interest. Now, technically, the smaller one was like $3,100. It was 6%. And a $3,400 was 23%. Okay, technically, we would start with the smallest, but because the numbers were so close, we said we're going to attack the $3,400 card first with the 23% interest. We're going to make minimum payments on the other cards, and we're going to get rid of this one right away. And this was so cool to walk through because this person realized they could pay this off in 4 months. And it's gone. And the 23% interest. I mean, that's high interest. All right. And then I said, okay, well, that's paid off. Then we're going to attack that other $3,000 one. And it won't take long to knock that out because we're going to put several $100s a month towards it. All right. So that's kind of the debt snowball in a nutshell. Now, I'm going to talk briefly about the credit score on page 90. And then I'm going to go ahead and probably close this video, just see how it all plays out and see if it works and see if there's any feedback from you. And then we'll go from there and I'll make another one, for next week. But this is section 3 on the credit score. And here's what the credit score really measures. Okay, now I know people say, well, I need a pretty good credit score because when I go to buy a car, I get this, or a car loan, they're going to look at my credit score. Not if you pay cash. Now, do you remember the little exercise we did? You find the car you'd like to get. Oh, but we're not buying that one today. It's probably too expensive. I mean, we probably don't have cash for that. So what we're going to try to do is get, I don't know, a $2,000 car or what, I don't know. I mean, whatever you can do. And then we're going to go pay cash for that. Then we're going to drive it for maybe 10 months, maybe 12 months. And then we're going to sell it. Now, chances are, if you only paid $2,000 and it's still running and it's in good working order and all that, I'll bet you can sell it for that, maybe even $100 or $200 more. So, and then you've been saving money for that year. And let's say you've saved $2,000 and you have a $2,000. Now you can go buy you a $4,000 car. Yeah. So you don't need a credit score for that. You don't need a credit score at all. So basically the FICO, that's in the next blank there, by truth. The FICO score, F-I-C-O, the FICO score is an I love debt score because that's what it scores, is your debt. It doesn't care what's in your bank account. You could put $1 million in your bank account tomorrow and your FICO score will not change. You say, well, I'm in really good shape financially. Why isn't my score better? Oh, because it's based just on your debt. And at the bottom of the page, you can see the 5 components that make it up. All right. You've got the debt history. I mean, if you've only had credit for, if you had a credit card for 2 years, okay, it looks at that. Looks at your level of debt. I mean, you carrying too much debt on those credit cards. That's the things it's looking at. You taking on new debt or type of debt and the duration of the debt. Now, if you go out and get a mortgage when you're 25 or 30 and you have no credit card debt, and I know you're thinking, yeah, but are you going to check my credit score? Right. I understand all that, but see, you're different than most people, and there are ways to get mortgages without a credit score. All right, and maybe next time I'll give you a website, or you could go to the Dave Ramsey website, and there are links on there to mortgage companies, Churchill Mortgage, and they work with people with no credit score, but they've handled their finances very well, and they'll help you get a mortgage. All right, so there are ways to do it. I mean, this whole thing that you have to have a credit score and you have to take on debt, um, that's not reality. I mean, it sells well because look at the banks. They got these big buildings. People have loved taking on debt. I know how you rent an apartment. I know there are some people own apartments and they're going to check your credit score, but you'll be able to find somebody that'll work with you. You might just not get the first place you want. All right, so just keep all that in mind. And it's not uncommon. You go work somewhere, maybe they want to check your credit score, well, because I mean, it can tell something about you. I mean, if your credit's a mess, uh, maybe you're not the type of person they're looking for. So I know people will check that, and it is a growing trend. I mean, especially if you work in the finance industry. I mean, they're going to check your credit score. I mean, they're going to check your credit history and all that. All right. So anyway, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to close that up. I'm going to close it up today and then see how this video goes. And another reason I kept it a little short is because everybody's using the internet. Our internet is a lot slower, and I really don't know how this is going to take at this particular time to upload it to the internet, but I'll get it uploaded. Then I will send you a link, and then of course you'll know all that when you get it. But when you get to the end of the video, now you'll know why it was the link that it was and what I had to go through. So we'll see how all that plays out. All right. Now, if you have any questions, email me. I'll get you a homework assignment probably by, maybe I told you by Wednesday evening. I'll try to work all that out. We're going to have to do it digitally just for right now and see how all that plays out. All right. But we'll make it work. And because technology is a great thing. So we're going to go from there. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks. But if not, I know I'll see you on the video next week. All right. Have a great week.